and Tommy Lee, and maybe a few other names that I might have mentioned, when they get ready, they're gonna they're gonna throw shade at me or whatever. But this is the God honest truth, and people that know me know that I'm not just saying this because it's the right thing to say. It doesn't bother me because I'm not even going to be into that BS and stuff. Will I go to another ball? Sure. When you have one, Izzy, or when somebody say, Wendell, I want to give you lifetime achievement, or give you the ball, the trophy that you've never gotten, or something like that, I'll do that. But just to be in that little clique and stuff, Robbie Franklin, who is really cool with me, he can be shady at times. Robbie have a way of speaking and looking the other way, but I get tickled. I walked at my favorite funeral and said, hey, did my little patty with my little ring flapping, and hi, and she looked the other way. But that's my girl, my brother, and I like him. I've never gone to one of Robbie's. He's got a beautiful apartment across the street from Central Park. And when he got that apartment, it must have been 30-something years ago, he invited me, and I gave him an answering machine. Back in the telephone answering machine, that was big back then. So me and Robbie's cool. He's having his annual barbecue, so he invited me, and he didn't always invite me. I never made it, but I told him in a joke, I don't think I better go, because I think they're going to want my head on a silver platter, or better yet, a paper plate. But I'm going to Robbie's thing, because even if I saw Kevin and these other children and stuff like that, there's no hard feelings. It's just, listen, I just feel that you have no right to try to play me down or to say that I am not a legend or I am not an icon. I personally feel that I am a legend. I am an icon. I am a trailblazer. I am all of those titles that these kids give themselves. All right. And that goes back to the Apollo. After the House of LaBelle was so hot, we burnt out. I became fashion designer, Wendell and me. And I went to Apollo taping. This was when Showtime at the Apollo used to come on. And my style was so unique that they said,
I remember I saw it on TV.
Yeah, put this man up front. And when they put me up front, Mark Curry, this was before Steve Harvey and Sinbad. No, Sinbad saw me and introduced me to the world. Just said, Sinbad and Mark Curry and Steve Harvey was just admiring my style and whatever, and the next thing they said, he's a designer. So they hooked me up with Kiki Shepherd's wardrobe. And next thing you know, who was doing her stuff, I was doing a little bit, other people were doing a little bit. And it wasn't real big money, but it was money. And then one thing led to the next, and one thing led to the next. And then let me tell you something else. When there's a picture of me and Whitney Houston, people think that, oh, he got that picture when he was at the apartment. Oh, no. Somebody that knows somebody told somebody about me, and they flew me, paid a round trip to the Soul Train Awards. So I don't know if you ever watch those award ceremonies when they get out there and they get their award and they go back behind that black curtain.
Of course.
Not only they flew me there, I'm not sitting in the audience. I'm backstage where the stars are greeting one another. And that's how me and Whitney Houston hooked up and what have you. So I never got a chance to do anything for her. And it was talk that I would design something for her, but I never got a chance to do anything for her and what have you. Maybe it was just talking, but she was a real girl. I'm talking about Whitney Houston was real. When I'm talking about when you see her with those beautiful gowns and that jewelry and all of that, but then when she's sitting there talking to you, she's like another Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle was like that. I'm talking about the real Patti LaBelle. Talking about sitting there with a big $70,000 ring on her hand, and she so real. Phyllis Hyman was real. I did work for Phyllis Hyman. I did work for Patti LaBelle, but I never got a chance to do work for Whitney Houston. I did some work with Salt and Pepper on a video. Shoot, baby, shoot. That I'm not a singer, but they on the beach and they think your mama for a butt like that and stuff. Yes. And then I moved to I started with the Def Comedy Jam, Russell Simmons Def Comedy Jam, where Kid and Play, the Doctor, when I think that's Play. Play was doing clothing, and he was doing Martin Lawrence wardrobe. Martin Lawrence was a comedian. He just turned 50. Happy birthday, Martin. About 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I'm a little off. But Martin Lawrence was getting his things. Play from Kid and Play was doing it. And they heard about me, and then me and Play started working together. I was always under him, but I was putting my stuff, my taste in it. And I was getting some really cute money there. It was real cute. And I thank God for that. And Martin was a nice guy, you know, very serious when he's off stage. But we're talking, by the way, Ballroom Radio World, I want them to know that these names that I'm calling, these are not chicks with dicks. These are the real celebrities. These are real iconic people. That's millions.
Let's talk a little bit about Erykah Badu before we move on.
Okay, and Erykah Badu, she was back there when I met Whitney Houston. So that's how I met that picture. That's how I never did any work for Erykah Badu. And as a matter of fact, I didn't get a chance to talk to her butt so long. But back to the legend thing, I personally feel that once I left the ballroom, and then came out with my own label, Wendell and Me. That's my, Wendell designer and me, the person wearing it. That's when I kind of start stepping into the mainstream. And that, to me, makes me hold my head up high. Makes me stick my chest out and say, you know what? Yes, I was part of the ballroom. Yes, I done my dues and did the scandals or whatever. But, unfortunately, like a lot of these kids didn't do, I also took care of myself. I also picked up a book and read it once or twice. A lot of the kids, it was unfortunate to have people like that in their lives and stuff, but I've had people in my life that was cool, that was, kept me on a good path. Another thing I gotta say this, I talked about the drugs with the kids was using, like Kevin Army with her coke fanatic ass sucking on glass. This bitch got a lot of fucking nerve. Ooh, when I think of his name, I get angry. But what I want to say, I'm not angry, I'm pissed. But what I'm getting at is that people would look at me with my big hair and all that eyeliner and lashes, and you probably thought Wendell had to be on something. I was high all night. My other choice is cognac, a little Hennessy, or a nice cute cold beer that I'm going to get out my refrigerator and everything. But no, I don't do drugs. I never did it. I don't smoke cigarettes. I never learned to smoke. That's one of the reasons why I don't. I was really playing disco indie when I was in the ballroom scene and I was looking to be in the house, and I went to Pepper LaBeija to be asked to be in LaBeija, and I tried to get to the Adonis, and Alan Adonis told me, I'm sorry, darling, but Adonis is a face children. You don't have face. I've answered that now, but what I want to say is, when I wanted to be accepted in that world, I had even gotten so that I would get back then a little $20 package. You was the man or the girl or whatever you want to be. Is when you got a fresh $20 bill and you have cocaine in it. And when the kids be standing there in tracks or all the spots and they smoking their little blow and they got their little spoon, they using their long gold nail when they sing it. Do whatever they did, you was fabulous. Oh, he was all of that. So I would get me a $20, fresh $20, gotta be a nice $20 bill, and I would put cocaine, real cocaine in it. And stand there sometimes and try to profile or give it to somebody to use. So it'd be like, oh, that's my sister, that's Wendell LaBelle. Well, I wasn't Wendell, I was trying to fit in. And I didn't do it. So I can talk about some of the stupid shit that I did to get accepted or want to be down. And I'm glad I'm saying this because there are young gays out there that want to be a part of these houses and want to walk balls. And if they don't have somebody positive like you, Izzy, or come across somebody like me to tell them, listen, baby, you don't got to get a trophy. to be fab, okay? I can tell you a whole lot of children that walked the ball once or twice and never took it serious. I look at my sister, Mabel Milan. She gave 2 balls or whatever. She's well, she's another one. That is a legend. That is a legend. Been around, I think you're a legend when you got 34 years under your belt. So for Mabel to walk a ball and win this ball over Avis Pendarvis, and Avis said a bit behind that, she stopped talking to Mabel behind that shit. But back in the day, people needed their little $200 for grand prize money. But she literally stopped speaking to Mabel Milan. That's Rodney Nelson, my friend, my buddy, and everything. And, you know, me and him cool, we talk. He kind of tells me, yo, Wendell, you know, try not to hit below the belt too much tonight, but I know you're going to do you. So I had to do me. But now, one more thing. I think that's why I'm a legend. When I left the ball and crossed over, and I'm still doing things like that. I mean, I've got big bishops having me design robes for them, choir robes. I wear regular clothes. I'm just always busy. I mean, it might not be a lot of money, but as a local designer, to sit in his fabulous apartment, and I want to make sure these punks get this right, for a local designer to be able to sit in his fabulous, because baby, it's fabulous. Honey, you come to my house, I got some real cute shit up in here. You sitting on $7,000 sofas, that old bed I had with the head, with the light-up headboard, that's a thing of the past. Now I got a $10,000 bed that I freak and sleep in. And these punks telling me, I don't see you, you're not a legend. Anyway, what I want to say is, when a local designer like myself, and this is a blessing from God, can sit in his cute, ghetto, fabulous apartment and make off the books on a regular week $1,200 to $1,700 a week just making shit. You tell me I am not a legend? What are you smoking? I mean, tax-free money. There's some people that pay me with checks or whatever, but I'm talking about, I mean, God has really been good to me. And that's no money. It's no money. But for somebody that never have to steal, don't have to do bad checks, don't have to do none of that. God gave me a gift. 7 years old, making Barbie doll clothes. And then I got older and had people make stuff for me because I didn't want them to know that I was gay. Then when I came out, I kept saying, what am I going to do? What turns me on? What do I do? And my own mother said, you like clothes. Why don't you go into that? Mm-hmm. And to be able to do what I do, and that's what burns me up. It really burns me up when Stewart and these punks who don't really got no type of life, they don't have no COVID. That's why Kevin is so bitter at me, and from what I can see what he's been doing, posting on your page, you ain't one of his favorite people either, is he? I don't know if you knew that or not. But Kevin Army don't like your ass either. You know, I'm serious. I was looking at your page and stuff, and you told me you're going to put me on the show. I said, well, let me do some research and see what is it all about. Mm-hmm. So I'm so impressed what you're doing. And then I see what Kevin, you know, lately been doing. And I'm saying to myself...
Doesn't it look like a duplication of my page?
What you come again? What was that?
I said, doesn't it look like a duplication of my page? He's studying my marketing strategies and my promotional statuses and pictures.
Kevin, that's why I said earlier, I thank you. Because, you know, let me tell you something. God is a good God. He knows exactly what he's going to do. I personally feel that maybe it wasn't meant for me to get a trophy, or maybe it wasn't meant for me to get that. Maybe it was time for me to get it 30 years later. But what I'm getting at is, and I said it earlier and I'm going to say it again, God is a good God, because if he would have took what you do, and I meant this, I don't care who don't like it, if he would have took what you did and he put it in David Extravaganza hands, Robbie St. Laurent hands, Kevin Army,